Hello and welcome to the Dance Yourself Brave show, where we get real about the struggles dancers face, from confidence battles to self-doubt, and how dance has the power to make us braver, stronger, and more unstoppable in every area of life. I'm your host, Mariana Santos, founder of Brazili Fitness. And whether you're a seasoned dancer, a dance instructor, dance lover, or someone who's always wanted to dance but feels a little intimidated to start, this show is for you. Expect honest conversations, inspiring stories, and simple ways to bring more dance into your life, whether that's in the studio, on stage, or right in your living room. And if you're a dance instructor, we've got you covered with tips on how to grow your dance business, attract more students, and create a bigger impact through your passion for movement. So if you're ready to step out of your comfort zone, own your movement, and dance yourself brave, let's do this. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Dance Yourself Brave show. I'm your host, Mariana Santos, and I'm so excited because I have someone on the show today that I really admire, Laura Armstrong. Thank you so much for being here today. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, if you want any help when it comes to money mindset, Laura is your girl. And I want you to just introduce yourself a little bit, just give a little bit of a background so people know a little bit about you before we start.
For sure, yes. I am a 3-time world champion martial artist, a professional speaker. I'm also a money mindset and wealth mastery strategist. So I help people to develop a more positive and powerful relationship with money so they elevate their revenue fast, make the impact they're looking for, and actually up their level of deserve. And so that involves a few things, which we're going to talk about on this call. I was a coach for the Canadian martial arts team for many years. So I understand how to become a high achiever in the fitness world, how to stay there, how to translate that into your business model, because it's all related, those skills of leadership, communication, connecting with people, and understanding your value. And that's really what I think we're going to talk about today. So I'm excited about that.
Yes, for sure. So yeah, my first question is, so many dance instructors feel pressure to keep their class prices low because of competition in their area, right? So how can they shift their mindset from competing on price to confidently charging what their classes are truly worth?
Yeah, so there's a few things you can do here. So first of all, do you know what you charge an hour? Do you know what your worth is? And so what I do with some people who struggle with this is I say to them, look, I want you to think about how much you've put into your training, how much money, how much time over the past 20, 30 years, however long you've been in what you're doing, and add that all up. And that's going to be an eye-opener for you. That's going to say like, oh my gosh, so I'm worth this, right? The other thing too is there may be some limiting beliefs that you have around money that aren't necessarily yours, but you've been brought up with those things, right? And so, especially for women, I don't like to put people in that category, but also like, for a lot of women, they tend to not value themselves as much because they're more nurturing, right? So their currency isn't necessarily in money. They have a hard time receiving money. And that's the other piece. So is your receiving as strong as your giving? Because we're great givers, but we like to give stuff away. I don't give stuff away. I'm worth too much. And so when you're running a school, and I know this, I still run my martial arts schools to this day, like when you're charging for classes and stuff like that, I know my value. If people want a private with me, it's anywhere from $500 to $1,000 an hour because I know what they're going to leave with. And in that, I'm going to change them in that hour. Now, it's also based on your competition, your model, what you're teaching, et cetera, et cetera. But what I would encourage you to do is have a structure around that. So limiting belief, that's a whole other subject we'll get into. But also, what is it that uniquely defines you in your school? Why do people come to you? Because they're coming for Brazili or whatever you're teaching, but what is it that they want from you that you have specifically to give them that will shift and transform them? That's the key. Once you have that, that's the gold nugget. And then you can either capitalize on that or use it in your marketing, or that can be the deciding factor that people go to you instead of another teacher.
Yeah, I love that. And actually, that brings me into the second question. So a lot of instructors underestimate the transformation that they bring to
Yeah,
students, right? So it's
for
beyond
sure.
fitness, like it's confidence, it's joy, community, and even mental health, right? Like there was a study that came out that showed that dance is the number one way to fight depression. So what we do here is not just like a little thing, right? Like we truly help people on a deep level. So how can they reframe their values so they start to see themselves as life changers that they truly are instead of just like another dance class?
Yeah, for sure. There's three parts to that. So, first, I would tell you to write down the transformation you've had because your story is what they're looking for, okay?
Mhm.
And why you do what you do. The second is what they're going to learn in your class or working with you. And the third is what is the transformation that you give them. Once you have those three pieces, that not only becomes your marketing, it becomes their reason for showing up and purchasing your classes and wanting to be a part of your community because community is a big part of what you have here, Mariana. And so you're also selling the community, right? Because people want to feel like they belong to something that's bigger than them. And honestly, the support is really what's going to get them to the next level in their journey,
Mhm.
with their business and their classes and what they're doing.
Mhm.
Those would be the three things I would work on first in your business. And don't undersell yourself. The transformation that they're going to have now. I want to just define this. This is a very important thing. I want you to write this down. I want you to think about the outside results that they're going to have, not the inside work that they have. So, building confidence is great. Having more self esteem is great. All of that stuff is great, but it doesn't talk about results. So, what is the result of having more confidence? What is the result of having more self esteem? Right.
Mhm.
So, maybe they're going to go out and ask for clients. Maybe they're going to be able to communicate better with people. Maybe they're going to be able to close deals. Maybe they're going to be able to do this or that. But it's the results that people care about, not the outside work, the outside results, not the inside work. The inside work, they're on the journey with you. They're going to show up at your class. That's where that happens naturally.
Mhm.
But the outside results is what you talk about in your business.
Yes. I love that. And actually, in our Brazilian dance instructor training, one of the first modules, like in the first module, one of the first lessons is for them to talk about their dance stories. So like what you said, like what
Correct.
brought them to dance, because that unique story is what's going to draw people into you, into your
Hmm.
classes, right? And so just like don't be afraid of like looking back at like what you've been through, how dance transformed your life, and how you can use that to attract more people to have similar transformations. But I
Yeah,
love how you talked
100%.
about results too, because I think that sometimes we talk more about, "Oh, just come have fun, de-stress." It's like, okay, but what does that mean to the person's life, right? To feel less stress, like, or to feel less overwhelmed. So I love
Yeah.
that.
So I just want to add to that. When you're talking to your potential clients who are coming into your class, find out what their story is. And the best thing you can be is an active listener. You're not just hearing
Mhm,
them. Hearing them is passive.
mhm,
Active listening is what you need to do. And ask questions. They'll give you
mhm,
all the answers about why they're there. So you
mhm,
showed up today. What are you looking for? Well, I don't know,
mhm,
just something fun to do. Oh yeah, have you done
mhm,
fun things in your past? Why
mhm,
did this appeal to you? Do you like dancing? My gosh, I used to do salsa dancing when I was younger, right? Like, so
mhm.
it's the engagement they're looking for. So the more questions you ask, the more information you have, the easier it is to create more opportunity for them to come into your community.
Yeah, and then it's also market research, right? Because then
Yeah.
like if you really like that type of student and you want more students like that person,
Mhm.
then you need to be talking in their language, right? Like using their words
Correct.
like in your marketing. And I think that's a piece that people who are in the creative space like dance, like we just want to go and teach and have fun and help
Yeah.
people, but you're not going to be able to help enough people if no one knows you exist or no one knows about your classes, right? So marketing is super, super important, right? To keep things going and like also for you to feel more empowered and less burnt out along the way. Right.
Yeah, I am trained in communication. It's values-based training. And so this conversation is definitely not in my natural personality. Because I'm balancing it out because I don't know who's going to see this audience. So I
Hmm.
make sure I talk in all four personality codes, right? So
Hmm.
whether it's creating an opportunity, whether it's creating community, whether you want a structured class every week where you feel like you can depend on that and it gets you the workout you need, or whether you just want to see where doing this gets you into the next phase of your life. So kind of like your own little R&D on yourself, right? Like it just depends what you're looking for.
Yep, totally. So some instructors struggle with guilt around money. So they love teaching so much that it feels like wrong to make good money from it. So what advice do you have for breaking free from that belief? So I know we touched on limiting belief. So like this is
Yeah.
one that I'm sure is really big in the dance industry because they love
Yeah.
it so much, right?
Yeah, right. And so, first of all, guilt is a useless emotion. Most people use it to prey on you. So, I'm just being straight with you. It's
Hmm.
useless and it doesn't serve you. So, you can ask yourself these 5 questions. I want to give this to your audience. It's my gift. So, the first question is this real? So, is it real for you, or is it just something you've been told and you've taken on? So, think about that. Second question is this mine, or did someone give it to you? Okay. Secondly, is it true? Or is it a story you've been telling yourself because that's what your mom told you or someone else told you and now it's your story? Okay.
Hmm.
And the third question is, does it serve you? Because if it doesn't serve you, why are you keeping it? I'm going really
Hmm.
fast through this. I could spend a half hour
Yeah.
on each of these questions. And the fourth question is, when did it start? When you ask that question, your brain is doing its utmost to bring the awareness of that to the surface so you can look at it.
Hmm.
And the last question is, what happened? And now, once you know all of that information, you can reframe that limiting belief. So, for instance, my mom gave me, well, honey, money doesn't grow on trees.
Hmm.
Okay.
Classic, right?
Class, right? Got lots. Thanks, mom. Keep it. I'm not interested. So
Yeah.
I've reframed that to be, well, I've got a few acres of money trees out back. If you'd like a hayride through them, let me know. And isn't paper made of trees and money made of paper?
Yes.
Right? So I have so many money affirmations, and I'll give you my contact info at the end so you can book some time with me if you want to see and know more about what I do.
Mhm.
But reframing those limiting beliefs is key. So you can look back in this recording and take those step by step, reframe
Yeah.
it. What
Mhm.
happens is you're actually changing the neurons in your brain when you reframe it. So
Yeah.
you've got this one pattern and you're changing it into the other pattern. So those synapses actually change in your brain. And this
Okay.
works with what's called your reticulator activating system in your brain.
Mhm.
And that's the thing where, you know how you want something and you start seeing it everywhere? Because your
Mhm.
brain is doing its utmost to bring you what you want.
Yeah.
That's what you want to activate in your brain. And that's how it works.
Yes, it's almost like magic, right? I heard
Yeah,
an example once of like, let's say there's like a dream car that you want and then you finally get it and then all of a sudden you see that car all over the place whereas before
correct.
you never
Yeah,
noticed it, right? It's because you're
correct.
focused on it. So your brain is like it's opening up that awareness like you said, right? So
100%.
for
Yeah.
owners, there's often fear that raising prices will scare people away. So how can they
Mhm.
approach pricing from a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity so they attract the right students instead of just trying to please everyone?
Yeah, you're not going to please everybody and you'll lose students. And that's because those aren't your ideal clients, and it's okay. Don't take their stuff on. So raise your prices. What will happen is there will be a certain group that leaves. But what is happening is when you know your worth is worth more, you'll start attracting those people who know you're worth more.
Mhm.
Right? So I have clients who are millionaires
Mhm.
because I deserve that. Right?
Mhm.
So it's nothing special you have to do. Just go do it and see what happens. And
Mhm.
don't get stuck in, if I change my price, people won't come, because that's a limiting belief. Go through the 5 steps I just gave you on that.
Yes.
So you see how it all works here, right? So charge more if you're worth more. Even if you don't feel you're worth more, once you change your prices, like I said, you will lose those some people down here, but that's okay. Those aren't your people anymore. What
Mhm.
happens again is the neural synapses in your brain are reattaching differently. So your level of connection to yourself and your higher self, whatever you want to call that, is
Mhm.
changing. Your vibration is changing. So you're starting to attract more, bigger, more abundance. Like, so everything is more. So gratitude, all of it, right? So when that happens, nothing but good can come in at a higher level. Yeah.
Beautiful. Love that so much. And it's so true. Like, it's just about you doing that internal work first,
Yeah.
right? And then taking things to the next step. So, dance instructors often over deliver. And I think that's because we're so passionate driven, right?
Yeah.
So we use extra time, energy, and care without charging for that added value. So we have to think of like if we're going to teach an hour class, like how much prep work that we have to do before that hour class, right? A lot of practicing, sometimes putting together choreography, rehearsals, and things like that. How can they set healthier boundaries with both their time and pricing while still serving their communities?
Yeah. So have your basic program. Okay, which whatever it involves, okay, and then have an a la carte item. So if people want more from you, you charge more. I can do that. but, or you can do my membership monthly, or if
Mhm.
you want a VIP is a great idea. Then you can add in the bonuses. But have an a la carte menu, have your basic pricing for your classes, and that's it. And it includes this. So your definition is there, the boundaries are there, and then people who push those boundaries can always look at the a la carte. Just see if you'd like to add that on, it's going to be this. The
Mhm.
ones who are cheap and or who don't value that will say no. The ones who are just say yes. And then you have the option to upgrade them to VIP. Well, if you do our VIP, you're going to get some of these a la carte items plus more. I don't know if that
Mhm.
interests you, right? And then
Yeah.
they'll make the choice.
Love that. So, if there's an instructor listening right now or a dance studio owner listening that's like just feels stuck in survival mode, they're
Mm.
taking on too many classes, charging too little, and burning out, what's the first money mindset shift they can make today to start moving toward more fulfillment and financial freedom?
Yeah. So I would put down all your limiting beliefs about money and do those 5 steps I gave you. That's number
Mhm.
one. Because
Mhm.
what that will start to do is to change the dynamic around how you feel about money. And what that does is release all the old stuff and actually starts to bring in new stuff. You'll start to see things
Mhm.
change very quickly. I also do a
Mhm.
lot of affirmations. One I do is I'm so grateful today that abundance comes to me easily and effortlessly on a consistent and everyday basis. And then, just keep in mind when you're doing this stuff, do not need an answer. Okay.
Mhm.
And as human beings, we want an answer for things because we want things to be complete. It doesn't work
Mhm.
that way.
Mhm.
Ask the question, put it out there, and see what shows up. Because if you're willing to have things however they show up, you can have everything. But if you're
Right.
willing to have things only show up in one way and it doesn't, then you're just going to have disappointment, right?
Mhm.
And then you're like still in that survival mode. So to get out of that survival mode, you have to actually decide to choose to change. And it's just a choice. So if you want more, know that you have the support, you have the tools and the strategies so that you can step into a bigger version of yourself. But if you're not
Mhm.
ready, that's okay too. There's no judgment anywhere here. It's all
Yep.
about your journey and what you need for your journey, right? So, absolutely. Like, I would just say, and this is the other thing. When you charge less, you're giving away your power. So, how much of your power have you given away? And how much
Mhm.
do you want to own again? So, when you start setting boundaries around who has your time and energy, what they take from you, what you decide you want to give, and that giving and receiving starts to balance, you're going to take your
Mhm.
power back. And that's really when you become unstoppable.
Yes, I love that. And also, like kind of just what you were saying, like just being okay with sometimes saying no, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes like
there's
if
a lot
someone
of power in the no.
yeah, because if sometimes you're saying yes to someone or an
Yeah.
opportunity that, is just not for you, or it's like it's not going to make you enough money, it's more work than it's worth. And sometimes, like by you saying yes to that thing, you're actually saying no to yourself. And then you repeat that same cycle, right? Of just
Yeah.
like accepting less than what you're worth, right? So just being okay with sometimes, like, it's just not going to be your thing, right? And then that opens you up for bigger opportunities.
Yeah. And remember, when you say yes all the time, sometimes you can be giving away your power and people
Mm-hmm.
will take your power because you're giving it freely.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say no, it's not a refusal. It's just you standing in your power and they'll either respect it or they won't. And you can't control that
Mm.
because as humans, we like to control everything. It doesn't work.
No,
And
it
giving up the
does not.
control is hard because it's a way we can feel safe. And when we don't feel safe, we need to do things that make us feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
So use your safety in a different way. Feel safe within your support, within your instructors. Feel
Mm-hmm.
safe in knowing that what feels good for you is what you should move forward with. So always tap into that intuition. Don't always get into here because that will
Yeah.
lead you wrong sometimes.
I heard something that I think it was on a podcast that I always go back to. It's like, if it's not a hell yes, then it's a no.
Yeah.
So if your intuition is yelling at you like, well, this is like a maybe, then it's a
Oh,
no, right?
yeah.
Like you should be like full body excited, right? Like when
Yeah.
something, an opportunity comes
Yeah. I had a
along.
lady who recommended someone to me for marketing because I was looking for some marketing promotion. And all the guy did was try to sell me. And so she asked me how it went. And I'm like, well, I just didn't. She goes, I feel like that's a no for you. I'm like, yeah, it pretty much is. Yeah.
Yep.
But I didn't want to hurt his feelings until he kept pushing me. And I'm like, my answer is no, because you're selling me too hard.
Yep.
And then he had the awareness of that,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't know if he changed it, but he certainly did in my business. And I'm the type that will spend money, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he lost that because he was so
Yeah.
pushy. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, everyone's on a journey and learning,
Yeah.
along the way, right? Hopefully he did take that and grew from that experience. But
And just know that people need what you have. And
mhm.
if they don't, then they're not your student, they're not your client. It's okay.
Yeah. And that's okay too, right? Maybe they need something else, right?
Yeah,
And that's okay. Like they're on their own journeys as well.
for sure.
But thank you so much for sharing all this wisdom.
My
And I know
pleasure.
that this is going to help so many instructors out there. So I want you to just share how people can reach out to you and connect on a deeper level with you. Go into that, please.
Sure, sure. So you can book, I'll offer an hour of my time. And so you can book on wealthstrategywithlaura.com. And you can book some time on there with me. I'm sorry, my calendar is a little booked out, but book time on there. I do want to speak with you. And I'm happy to speak with you and see you how I can help you in your business. And yeah, I'll give you some
Awesome.
tools in that call as well.
Awesome. And I'll make sure that link is in the show notes so it's easy for people to click. And
Awesome.
thank you again, Laura. It was so great to have you on the show.
Great.
And thanks to everyone who tuned in today. And if you feel like this episode will help someone that you know who maybe is a dancer, struggling with some mindset issues and just needs to kind of like get out of their head and into their purpose a little bit more, share this episode because remember, sharing is caring. This is the way that we spread the love for dance and just get together to grow our businesses and continuing to make that impact we want to make in the world. So thank you again, and I'll catch you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Dance Yourself Brave show. If today's episode got you hyped, inspired, or just made you want to bust a move, do me a favor, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to hear today's message. Sharing is caring after all. And hey, don't forget, your courage is already in you. Sometimes you just gotta dance it out to feel it. Catch you next time. Keep shining and keep dancing yourself brave.